Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing great. Um, I am aware that not everybody who sews want to create from scratch. Some people just want to alter or change what it is that they have. So I wanted to make a quick video to show if you had like a pair of pants or a skirt, or in this case, I'm just using a child's pair of shorts, how to hem and make that change. If you're like me and you're short, you have to change the length of your pants a lot. And so I want to show you how easy that is to do a simple top stitch for an hem, okay? So go ahead and grab your pants or shorts, whatever it is that you want to shorten. And I'm going to show you a quick, simple way to do that. First off, what you're going to need is you're going to need some straight pins, okay? And you'll need a marking tool. So depending on the color that you'll be working on, if your pants are dark colored, you can use a tailor's chalk that works great and shows up on dark colors. If you have a lighter color, like what I'm working on, you can use like a Fixon pen or something that's a color marking. Then you're also going to want a hem gauge, okay? You might have a hem gauge that looks like this. What it does is it kind of helps you measure your actual hem. Or like we talked about before, that Clover iron-on gauge ruler, you can use that as well. So whatever you have, grab that, and I'm sure it's going to work fine. All right, the first thing we want to do is we want to take our item and we want to turn it inside out so that we are working on the wrong side of our item. Okay, if you are working with pants, go ahead and before you turn them inside out with pants, decide how short you want them to be. Okay, and go ahead and you can put a pin there. Now, let me tell you, with pants, put on shoes that you are normally going to wear with those pants so that you can get the right length, okay? So put those shoes on, put those pants on, and then take a straight pin, fold the underside up, and pin where you want your hem to be, okay? And then you can take your pants and turn them inside out. Okay, my pants are inside out, all right? And I want to take this fringe off of these shorts so it's not a raggy look, that it's more of a clean hem. And so I want to come up at least like 2 inches, okay? So what I want to do is I'll use my hem gauge so you guys can see that a little bit easier. And I'm going to place it on 2 inches, okay? Do you see that? That purple marking is right there lined on the 2 line, okay? So I'm going to line that, and I'm going to start. There's a little stitching right here at the bottom, but I'm going to start and right where that line is, and I'm going to mark 2 inches all the way across, okay? If you have a ruler, kind of, like a clear ruler, you can use that and mark straight across. Whichever tool you want to use is easiest for you. So I'm just going to do a marking, because that's where I want the bottom of my fold to be. Now, if you're working with pants, remember where you folded it up, measure from the hem to where you folded it, and that's going to be how much you want to measure across, okay? All right, so I'm doing it on that side, and I'm also going to do it on this side. So again, I'm marking straight across. And I also want to show you an example just to be clear when you're working with pants. Let me mark this and you can know what I'm talking about. And now you're going to do this all the way around the leg. Okay, do this all the way around the leg, so on the back side as well. Now, for a commercial break, when you're working with pants and you had turned your pants inside out, this is kind of what they would have looked like, you know, with that pin I told you to put in where you wanted your hem to be. Okay, this is how it would have looked. So you would have measured, I'm sorry, this is elementary for some who might be used to this, but for somebody who's new, this is what you would have done. You would have measured this space, okay? You would have measured that space, and then you can undo that pin, fold down that pants leg, and whatever that measurement was, that's what you would measure all the way across, okay? That's what you would have measured all the way across, if that makes sense, okay? Okay, now we're gonna measure how far down or how much fabric we need in order to create our hem. So I just want a 1/2 inch hem. And if you look on your pants that you're working on or shorts, look at the existing hem that's there and measure what that is. And that's how much of a hem that you want, unless you want something different, okay? But most people will just use that same size. So I just want a 1/2 inch hem for my shorts here. And so you want to double that amount, because what we're going to do is we're going to double fold the fabric so that our raw edge is hidden within the hem. Okay, that's why we're doing a double calculation. All right, so if this is my line here and I want a 1/2 inch hem, to double that 1/2 inch, that gives me 1 inch. Okay, yes, there is math in sewing. So that means from this line down, okay, not up this way, this line down towards the bottom of the pants, I want to draw a line that is 1 inch, okay? So if I take my hem gauge and I place it on the number 1, okay, I can flip it around and I'm going to measure from that line 1 inch, and I'm going to go all the way across with that line. So go ahead if you want and do your marking. Okay, I have made my line 1 inch away from that marking there, okay? And now what you can do is you can cut the rest of this off, okay? So let's go ahead and cut this so that all of this excess fabric that we don't need is removed. All right, and then we can get rid of that. Okay, we have now gotten over by the iron because I find this so helpful. If you take your cut edge, you're going to fold it to where that first line that we made. See how we did that? Take it and just fold it to that first line. And then what you're going to do is take your iron. If you have one, if you don't, it's okay. You can still do it. Just pin it. And you're going to iron that. And you're going to do that all the way around. Okay? So just fold and press. Okay? Do that all the way around and do that for both legs. All right? And then once you've gone all the way around with one, then what you're going to do is fold it again. Okay? This is our guide. Okay, this is our guide. We're going to fold it again. And we're going to press. Okay? And look at that. We don't have a cut edge showing at all. Okay? So do that for both legs, and I'll see you at the sewing machine. Okay, we are done ironing. So our bottom of our pants, or in my case shorts, should look like this. If I unfolded it, there's my raw edge, and look, I folded it once, that 1/2 inch, I folded it twice, and now that raw edge is sandwiched on the inside, and I pressed it all the way around, okay? And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a binder clip, okay, looks like this, and I'm going to put it on my side seams, okay, just to kind of hold that position, okay? I'm just going to put it on my side seams here. And I'm going to do that for both my legs. You can pin it if you want to, or if you need more pins, you know, feel free to do what you need. And put that all the way around. That just kind of helps keep that in place. All right. All right, now it's time to sew it. Most machines has an arm that you can pull off. All right, so if I take this and I slide it out, this is going to allow me to move in a circular motion. Excuse me. All right, we want to start on the inseam of our leg. So the inner part of our leg is where we want to start, because that's where our reverse stitch is going to be. And I really don't want to see that on the outside of my leg. So we're going to start on the inseam. So if you take it and you're going to slide it on, this is a little tiny leg, but we can still get it on. All right. And I'm not starting directly on that seam, okay? I'm not going to start directly on that seam because that's too thick right there. You'll break a needle. All right, but if I take that binder off, I'm going to move to the other side of that seam. All right. Now, we want to stitch about 1/8 of an inch going around this area right here. We don't want to be over here, okay? You get over here and it's going to just flop open. So you don't want to do that. You want to stitch close to this edge, okay? So if I line my seam up with where my plastic and my metal meet on my presser foot, okay? And I move my needle position over to the left, look, it's coming right down, right where I want it to come down, okay? We're gonna increase our stitch length a little bit so our stitch is not so tight. So we're gonna increase our stitch length a little bit, okay? And I'm just going up to like 3.5, all right? If you're able to on your machine, go ahead and change that. All right, we're gonna lower our presser foot down, lower our needle down. We're gonna stitch forward and reverse. All right, and now we're gonna stitch all the way around. Now remember, this is gonna end up trying to get tight onto your machine. So you wanna take your hand and move it forward while it's turning, okay? That way it can keep moving. All right, see how I'm pulling it forward? All right, and then straighten your pants out. We can take that clip off and keep going. Now, I'm getting to a seam, my outer seam. It's really thick, so you want to take time. You can pull from the back to make sure that it goes through there nicely. All right, and now we're gonna keep going. All right, when you get back around, again, you have another seam. Move slowly, okay? And then get right back on top of where you began. I'm moving really slow because that seam is really thick and I don't want to break a needle on y'all. All right, we're gonna reverse. Come back forward. All right, y'all, look at that. Look what you did. You did it, you did it, you did it. Look at that. That looks really good. That looks really good. All right, do the same thing with the other leg, okay? Okay, y'all, look at what you did. Oh my goodness, I'm so proud of you. Oh gosh, you did so good. Now, let's turn them to the right side. And guess what? You can give them a good press. And you just hemmed your pants. For me, I shortened these shorts. Look at that. You did it. You did it. All right. Thank you all so much for taking time with us and learning how to hem. It was a lot of fun. I loved showing you how to do that. And if you liked it, go ahead and like it on the screen, subscribe, however you say it. And continue to follow us as we continue to do fun projects. And if you're a person that, doesn't sew, but just enjoy the projects and maybe want something created for you, you can go to our website, sophoriastudio.com, and place an order or reach out to us, okay? I enjoyed doing this with y'all, and I look forward to doing another project again soon. Bye.